The sound of rain used to calm him. Now, it only reminded him of silence, the kind that filled their home when she stopped talking to him. It was late November in Seattle, the kind of night where the sky pressed down on the city, heavy and wet. The street outside glistened with reflections of neon signs and passing headlights. Mark Reynolds sat in his car in the driveway, the engine off, watching the faint glow from the kitchen window. She was in there, Emily. His wife. His everything. She was moving around the kitchen, phone in hand, smiling at something she read. Smiling in a way she hadn't smiled at him in months. He stayed there longer than he should have, the rain tracing thin lines down the windshield, his hand frozen on the steering wheel. Something twisted in his gut, not anger, not yet, just that instinctive sense that something wasn't right. It had been creeping in for weeks. The late nights. The sudden new perfume. The phone always face down. And that laugh, God, that laugh he used to love, now sounded rehearsed when it was meant for him, and effortless when it wasn't. Mark was 38, a software developer who had built a quiet, steady life with Emily over 10 years of marriage. They had met in college in Portland, then moved north when he landed a job at a Seattle tech firm. They bought a small craftsman-style home in Queen and with a view of the Space Needle. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. Emily taught art at a local community center, watercolors, acrylics, and weekend workshops for kids. She was the kind of woman who could make a room feel warm just by walking in. Lately, though, the warmth had gone cold. She claimed she was just tired, or busy with the new art exhibit, but Mark had noticed the way she avoided his touch at night, the way she pulled her hand back just a second too soon when they walked together. He'd tell himself he was imagining it, until the phone started buzzing after midnight. Once, twice. Always silence before he could see the name. It started small. One Thursday evening, Emily told him she had to stay late to help prepare an art show downtown. Mark offered to pick her up afterward. She hesitated, a tiny flicker, but enough. "Oh, no, don't worry about it," she said too quickly. "We'll probably grab dinner after. It's a whole group thing." He nodded, pretending not to notice how her eyes darted away. That night, he drove downtown anyway. He told himself he just wanted to surprise her, maybe bring her coffee, see her in her element. But when he reached the gallery, the place was dark. Empty. Locked. The only car in the lot was her blue Subaru. Parked next to a black Mercedes he didn't recognize. Mark waited. 10 minutes. Then 20. Then 45. When she finally came out, she wasn't alone. A tall man, mid-40s, dressed sharp, maybe an artist or a gallery investor, walked her to the car. They were close. Too close. Her laugh floated through the drizzle. The man brushed a strand of hair from her cheek, and she didn't stop him. Mark sat in the dark, every heartbeat echoing in his skull. He didn't get out. He didn't yell. He just watched as she kissed the man on the cheek, got into her car, and drove away, smiling. He followed her home that night. When she walked in, she acted like nothing had happened. "Long night?" he asked, voice steady. "Yeah," she sighed, slipping off her coat. "We're all exhausted." He nodded, kissed her forehead, and went upstairs. That was the night he stopped trusting her. Over the next week, Mark became someone he didn't recognize. He checked her phone when she showered. Nothing, she deleted everything. He noticed she'd started locking it with Face ID. He checked her emails. Normal. Her social media. Carefully curated perfection. He started driving past her work during lunch breaks. Sometimes her car was there, sometimes it wasn't. Then came the receipt. A charge for a luxury hotel in Bellevue. 1 room. Friday night. When he confronted her, she didn't flinch. "God, Mark, are you serious?" she snapped. "It was for a group retreat." You really think I'd? He didn't answer. He just stared. That silence made her nervous, he could see it. She left the room, muttering something about control issues. But later that night, when she thought he was asleep, she went downstairs and deleted something from her phone. Mark wasn't crazy. He knew what he saw. So he did what desperate men do, he followed her again. Saturday morning, she said she was going to the studio for a workshop. He watched as she drove north, out of the city, toward Kirkland. Not toward the art center. She pulled into a lakeside motel, parked, and waited. 5 minutes later, the same black Mercedes arrived. He felt his stomach drop. His hands shook so badly he had to grip the steering wheel just to breathe. She got out. Smiling. The man kissed her, not on the cheek this time, but slow and deliberate, the kind of kiss that said this wasn't new. Mark sat there, the rain pounding harder, his world collapsing in silence. That night, she came home late again. Mark sat at the dining table, laptop open, papers spread out, their mortgage, joint accounts, text logs. Her face went pale when she saw the printed hotel receipt. "Emily," he said quietly, "how long?" She froze. He waited. The clock ticked louder than the rain. "Mark," she began, her voice cracking. "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." Silence. Then tears. Then lies. "It was just one time," she whispered. "It didn't mean anything." "One time," he repeated. "Then why the hotel last month? The gallery? The motel today?" Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. That's when he knew, she wasn't sorry for doing it. She was sorry for getting caught. He stood up slowly. "Pack a bag," he said. "You're leaving tonight." She cried, begged, said it was a mistake, said she loved him. But every word only deepened the ache in his chest. When she finally left, the house felt like a tomb. 2 weeks passed. He didn't answer her calls. Didn't reply to her texts. Then came the email, from him. Daniel Pierce. The man from the gallery. Wealthy. Married. Art sponsor. He wrote, "I think it's best if we handle this quietly. My wife doesn't need to know." Mark stared at the message for a long time. Then he smiled, not with happiness, but with the cold precision of a man who had nothing left to lose. He forwarded the email to Daniel's wife. Attached the photos. The receipts. The hotel bills. Everything. 2 days later, the news broke. Daniel's wife filed for divorce, froze his assets, and pulled his sponsorship from Emily's art program. Her career collapsed overnight. She showed up at Mark's door a week later, soaked from the rain. "Please," she sobbed. "You've ruined me." He looked at her, calm and empty. "No," he said. "You did that yourself." He closed the door. Slowly. Deliberately. And for the first time in months, he slept. Months later, he still heard the rain every night. Sometimes, when the thunder rolled across the sound, he'd remember her, the way she laughed, the way she betrayed him. He didn't hate her anymore. He just didn't feel anything at all. He stood by the window, coffee in hand, watching the lights of Seattle blur through the downpour. Somewhere out there, Emily was starting over. Maybe she'd paint again. Maybe she'd find someone else to believe her lies. The rain whispered against the glass, steady, endless. And for the first time, Mark didn't wish it would stop.